Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now, it's truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, last night Smilegate had a massive roadmap video. They did it differently, thank God. No cringy streamers or anything like that. It was a really great just dev talk about upcoming updates, as well as getting some dev notes. There is a lot to talk about, including our first seasonal limited character and partner. Lots to talk about, timestamps wherever you want to go down below. But before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to Smilegate for making this a paid promotion video. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to get opportunities like this by companies that I play their games from. So it's an amazing opportunity. So thank you to all of you for giving me this type of chance. But at the same time, with this type of sponsorship, I just want to be transparent with you guys. I get to say whatever I want. All of my opinions are of my own. My critiques are my own. They don't get to tell me what I need to say. I say what I want. So just being transparent with you guys as always. But with all that yapping out the way, let me scoot on over and let's put it on screen right here. And right now, we are at the YouTube channel for Chaos Zero Nightmare, getting started with a look at Serenial. She looks fantastic. I'm just telling you right now. The hair, the angelic imagery that she has with the wings and everything almost reminds me of like Inherit Squad a little bit. Looks so good, man. Looks fantastic. Honestly, you get a good look at like the sketch and the design and stuff. She looks amazing. For a limited time unit, looking really great. Even the 2D art looks fantastic. I love the colors and everything. Now, one thing to note with her though, is that she is going to be an instinct hunter character. So make sure that if you want to farm for her, if she looks enticing, make sure you're farming the yellow element for the rocks. Make sure you're getting growth materials, and also make sure that you're getting the hunter books. Make sure you have enough. And one thing that I do want to say that I wish they would do differently with these updates is to give a better heads up about these units. There's a lot of like farming that needs to be done to build characters out, and there is not a lot of time or stamina in between when we get these announced streams and even kit reveals to the update. So if you want to start farming for this new character, make sure you start doing it now. Get ready for her. She looks fantastic. Not to mention the amazing wallpaper that she has. Okay, they cooked. I can tell that the CZN team is focused on not only a fun roguelike, but some great Gooner art, and I'm here for it. This is why I'm here. I see a lot of people, especially on Reddit, talk about how they get annoyed by it, and I'm so glad that the devs aren't listening to it. I could care less about that. I'm here for the fun, but great Gooner bait. This is what I'm here for. She looks fantastic, wrapped up just in time for Christmas with this bow around her chest, the sweat from the booba on her belly, and I'm not gonna say anything, but the areola on her left titty looks magnificent. You see a little bit touch of that pink right there. Looking good. I see you Smilegate. You guys are cooking up an amazing character, and I'm falling for the bait. Might be doing a good bit of investment with her, I have to say. I feel like I've been talking about Serenial for a hot minute. We need to move on because I feel like this image right here is going to get me flagged, and I really don't want this video to be demonetized. But we also need to talk about her partner, who is also going to be limited. Her name is Peko, however you want to pronounce it. Green-haired girl right there. She is going to be limited. They are both going to be. And honestly, it's not my cup of tea design-wise. Some people may like her, and that's great. Everybody has different preferences. But also, with this, you don't really see the partners in-game anyway, just their sprites, so I don't think it really matters all that much. But with this limited time idea, the devs actually explained how they're going to be different than our other rate-up units. They're going to be seasonal agents. You're still going to be using the blue anchors that you've always been using to pull for these rate-up characters, and the pity is also going to carry over. But one thing that they did confirm that's really important that we talked about is that you're going to be able to buy up to 2 of Serenial's memory codes from the shop. meaning that you're going to be able to use the purple currency that I mentioned in my last video when we were talking about not wasting anything. And guess what? I was correct, because that is going to count for limited time characters until they leave the shop, as well as the Omega code that we got. You're going to be able to use that to raise her dupe level as well. So that is confirmed. So make sure that you save that and you're good to go. If you've been saving this the whole time, good job. We're ahead of the game here, especially if you really want to invest in her. We're going to have to wait to see how her kit is, to see where the dupe level that's going to be really good to be at is going to be. So far, I feel like E2 has always been the constant, but we'll see. But so far, really, really good things with her. Really excited to see what they do. But for now, we also need to move on to talking about the roadmap that came out. Now, that whole video is the roadmap, but I feel like breaking it down here is better. But I really wanted to showcase Serenial because they did some amazing things. But now let's get started with talking about the dev notes. Hello, this is the Chaos Zero Nightmare team. Since launch, we have already been racing towards the final of Galactic Disaster Season 1. Despite the many areas that still require improvement, we would sincerely like to thank all the protos for the continued interest and support you have shown Chaos Zero Nightmare. In this developer note, we would like to share a consolidated overview of the upcoming new content and improvements previously introduced through the roadmap showcase video. While every aspect of the development is important, our primary focus is improving the gameplay experience of the roguelike mode, though we are also working on a wide range of feature additions and improvements to enhance the inherent fun of the roguelike experience. We have identified that high-intensity save data farming driven play significantly increases player fatigue and undermines the core enjoyment and spirit of the roguelike genre. So, according through this roadmap, we aim to introduce reduced save data farming difficulty through zero system improvements, a roguelike experience that pushes beyond existing limits via Chaos Assault, and memory manipulation items that allow save data editing in roguelike modes where save data is not earned. Our core development goal is to structure the play experience so that through repeated engagement with endgame content independent of save data, players can naturally reach the practical limits of the decks they envy. Building on a more refined roguelike experience, we are introducing and improving various systems to enhance character appeal, adding universal content to support richer seasonal enjoyment, and expanding end content beyond pure attack-focused designs. Based on the feedback from the protos, we will continue to refine it. Ultimately, the entire dev team will give its utmost effort until Chaos Zero Nightmare can deliver an irreplaceable game. Shout out to you guys. Now, let's get started with talking about Season 2 improvements. This is what's going to be coming up after we close out Season 1. So, honestly, we're getting close. I think we have almost 21 days left in Season 1. So after these next 3 weeks, we are going to be getting a massive update with Season 2. And let's get started with the world expansion and codex improvements. Within the codex, a unique option called the Divine Intervention event will occur at a certain probability. By encountering the gods and clearing these events, the Zero Archive will be unlocked. Through the Zero Archive, you will be able to learn more about the world-building elements related to the gods. Each god may also grant access to a special fate with powerful effects. Archive standardization, the agent collection will also be improved. A new archive will be added where you can view monsters and equipment by planet in one place. In addition, a new lore collection covering terminology, characters, and events will be introduced, and there's also going to be psychological counseling improvements. Before we get to that, there are some images here so you can get an idea of like these archives and stuff. The gods, big booba goddess right there too, looking sick. The cool one from the green planet, that looks sick, man. Honestly, this looks awesome to see. The void one too. It's cool to see what they're cooking up. But to mention the psychological counseling, to more clearly survey combatants' trauma, new presentation elements and breakdown related choices will be added. Poor counseling decisions may instead aggress a combatant's trauma and pushing them into a deeper breakdown. In such cases, counseling with protos will be suspended, medical staff will intervene, and affinity will not increase for that combatant. Interaction feature improvements, there's going to be touch reactions for the combatants in the lobby, the cafe, the restaurants. In future updates, they also want to do dining together at the diner where you get your little buffs for the chaos runs. And then receiving unstable DMs depending on the combatant's mental state. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's cool to see that they want to improve that more. And I think the trauma thing can do a lot more. So I'm glad that they're leaning more into that. I think that's really awesome. But moving on, we also have Galactic Martial Arts Tournament events. New content will be added where monster cards obtained by defeating powerful enemies can be incorporated into your save data and used in combat. I wonder if this is going to be a way to counteract the fact that when you're farming for save data, monster cards are 80 paint memory, and that's like not worth it because that can be a whole deck depending on what save data tier you're at. And I know for a lot of people it's just not worth it, but some are really cool. So I wonder if this is their way of being able to incorporate that and editing the save data like they mentioned before. There's going to be a new monster appearing for the first time that also has destructive parts. Really cool to see. There's going to be a seasonal board to show your seasonal challenges and progression. And also something that they mentioned on a KR stream a little bit ago called the Spiral Tower of Screams. This one's really interesting because this is going to be different, and it's going to be regular endgame content where you conquer a tower by freely combining decks. There's no turn limit, so like the Basin of Hyperspace where you feel really restricted on the kind of decks you're using, you can have fun here and do what you want. There's no turn limit. You simply progress by clearing each floor in order. The tower features up to 150 floors, offers rewards such as tokens, stickers, growth currency, and with this growth idea, there's going to be a new growth difficulty care proto sync system and growth adjustment system. Proto sync system will be introduced to temporarily scale a combatant's level, potential, and memory fragments to a set threshold. This allows untrained combatants to be deployed into Chaos right away, making it easier to test various deck compositions and deck building strategies. I think that's really cool. I feel like this is almost akin to the Synchro from Nikkei, very similar. And then prior to the Proto Sync system, a new mode will be added to the Galactic Disaster Chaos that allows any combatant to be deployed immediately during the season with their level and stats scaled to an appropriate growth stage, even without potential or memory fragments. Save data can still be obtained, allowing you to freely and comfortably experience with deck building or prepare decks in advance with seasonal chaos data. That's cool. I actually think this is really sick. I feel like this opens a lot more for people. And not only that, but you're going to be able to borrow save data from friends on your list. There's going to be save data presets here, a guild office where you can request like missions through the guild office, completing objects like boss subjugations or chaos purification rewards with large quantities of crystals of discord, a zero system upgrade rework. You can see everything. This is going to be the preset, using save data from friends on your list, the new guild office system that they want to work on, and more importantly, the rework of the zero system. This looks insane. This looks like a skill tree now. Stage 1, accessibility permission increase, basic steps and epiphany activation rates. Stage 2 is going to be authority expansion, introducing the effects such as encounters with divine representatives that influence stages and increase chance for rare unidentified areas to appear. But stage 3 is the one that we need to talk about because administrator mode provides powerful effects, including additional divine representative choices and increased divine epiphany rates, including long requested features such as reapplying epiphany to cards that already have it or selectively duplicating cards. That's insane. Those insane choices are going to be introduced as upgrade effects, and additionally during each season, a season-defining skill tree called environmental variables will be added. I think that's going to be a nice touch just to make it feel different every time. And then a unique codex addition. A new unique codex will be introduced, offering a completely different experience from standard chaos gameplay through fixed level design and special objectives. Season 2 update balance adjustments. They also want to make sure that this game has a healthy meta and everything. And I think one thing that's important is that compared to Epic 7, I feel like, especially in the beginning for Epic 7, there was this idea of like no nerfs no matter what, and I feel like that actually hurt the game. So seeing them approach it differently here is actually kind of nice, because they're going to go back and they're going to change, but also improve the characters. So, for instance, one thing that they're doing with the Season 2 major balance adjustments is that they're going to be changing the common cards with low adoption rates to improve them. They're going to change the heal mechanics for controller combatants, so Nia, Rey, Orlia, and Cassius are going to be getting buffs, and they're going to be fixing and changing underutilized builds or unique cards and epiphanies. And they mentioned this with Yuki as well, so they want to try to make her a single target build with some epiphanies that you can do. So this is also some way that is going to be a buff for her as well. There's going to be partner passive effects that are going to get improved, but one thing that they did talk about that is getting changed, and honestly, you can thank the Great Rift for this. If you go look at the Great Rift, a lot of people are using Cassius and Tressa. for a reason, and I also use her. It's insane. It changes how strong Tressa can really be, and you can go up in ranks because of that. If you have a really good Cassius, a really good Tressa, you're going to be good. And I think this is one thing that they didn't really think about or see coming. So I think they are going to be nerfing her because they said that it led to unusually long battles, often 3 to 4 times longer than normal. That's how people got a higher score. And they decided that they are going to be adjusting them, but at the same time, they're going to be giving them buffs to counteract that. But Smilegate obviously knows that not everyone's going to be happy with this. And I think one of the most important parts is that even if they're getting changes and buffs and stuff, that's not what you got that character for, right? So they understand that some people might not be happy with it. So Protos will be able to request a character recall at their discretion to get all their resources back, fully refunded. I think that's really, really cool. And it allows limited save data adjustments to be granted. That's great. So cannot wait to see what they change with this as well when it comes to the future Great Rift content. And some fun stuff that they're doing, that it's just like cosmetic and stuff, but decorating your ID card, like that looks really cool. Memory fragment management, they're going to just make it easier. And one thing that they did say that they were going to do with the quality of life that I do want to mention is that there's going to be a story skip option. And with simulation repeats, for some reason, Smilegate is just afraid of sweeping. I don't know why they're so afraid of it. But rather than doing that, you're going to be able to apply, like, let's say the 90 stamina that you're using or the 60 stamina that you're using. You're going to be able to apply that, and it's only going to be for 1 wave, so you don't have to do 3 waves. So, a big improvement, but still, I mean, just give a sweep, you know what I mean? Like, come on. I'm here to farm the actual roguelike, but hey, that's just me. But that's all of Season 2. I know, this is a long one, I apologize. But with Season 3, there's also going to be some cool stuff that we're going to be getting, like Chaos Assault. One of the core apps of the roguelike genre lies in navigating constant threats and choices while striving for optimal strategies and simply surviving the run. Chaos Assault is new content designed to further embrace this roguelike experience. Chaos Assault is intended for protos who wish to experience CZN more deeply as a roguelike. Unlike the existing Chaos, which begins relatively safe, it immediately starts in far more dangerous and lethal areas. With interventions from various gods, the core gameplay flow becomes more intense and threatening, while new deck building elements are added to overcome these challenges. And this means that this is going to be like their high difficulty mode, featuring stronger and more varied monsters, along with new penalties. Additionally, by disabling certain existing systems such as the discard pile system, Chaos Assault will be introduced as a constraint-free roguelike challenge mode that allows for more liberated play beyond traditional balancing mechanism. That's interesting. The fact that the discard pile is not going to be there, that's actually kind of crazy. So I wonder how that's going to go. And then there's this new thing called Purification Protocol, which is content where combatants must be deployed across multiple areas to defeat the malware codes to restore a hacked system. Unlike standard combat, stress levels do not reset, so you need to be careful with your deployment. To counter these challenges, a system called Codebreaker will be available. Codebreakers are support effects that can be selected upon entering the stage. These support effects can be requested once a specific gauge is fully charged. With the gauge filling each time certain conditions are met, to survive critical moments, it is essential to choose codebreakers that synthesize with your setup and actively use their support effects at the right time. Interesting to see what they're cooking up. New challenge missions tied to each command's unique mechanisms will be added. Completing these challenges will be rewarded with special stickers, so just like making sure that you're actively using them. A growth guide is going to be introduced. New corruption. This one's interesting. These new images look insane. To confront the escalating threat of chaos, combatants will gain access to a new power. This new power is called Corruption, and it's going to be a growth system designed to enable combatants to challenge stronger chaos threats. Beyond simple stat progression, Corruption introduces new effects, skill changes that allow existing combatants to shine in new ways and enable fresh build possibilities. Corrupted combatants will also receive new unique breakdown visuals, dialogue, and designs, revealing an entirely new side of each character. That's insane. Seeing how this looks is kind of crazy, not gonna lie. They are cooking stuff up. Obviously, this is for Season 3. This is a long time from now, but still, getting an idea of what they're doing with this roadmap is refreshing. I like to see stuff like this. This looks great. Cannot wait to see what they do with this and to see who becomes a bigger meta just because of this corruption thing. They're going to be adding PC mapping improvements, thank God. They want to add full voiceover to trauma code to make it more in-depth, which I like those stories too. I know we've only gotten it for, I believe it was Rinoa and Haru, but I'd love to see more. So hopefully that means we get some more good stuff cooking, especially now that they're getting a lot of money. I saw that. Hey, I saw how much they made last month, all right? They're doing good. They also want to improve some scenarios, so I think that's great. They're doing a lot of stuff right now for CZN, and I think they are cooking up something special right now. This was a huge Jap session, but I really hope that this made you more interested, more excited, especially if you're interested in Serenial. I'm really excited. They are cooking up a great story right now. If you made it all the way to the end, you're a real one. Hopefully you're interested. You're more hyped to see what we got coming up in the pipeline. But right now, thank you so much for the constant support, for watching. Once again, a big shout out for Smilegate for making this a paid promotion. But that is going to be it for me. So I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.